So I'm sure most of you have heard the new WhatsApp privacy policy update, and that has raised a lot of concerns among people, and a lot of people are leaving WhatsApp to other platforms like Telegram and Signal. But today we're going to answer two very important questions. Number one, what are all these privacy shenanigans about? And number two, should I be concerned? Well, let's find out. I'm Michelle Manuel, and welcome to Tech Haven. So I'll start with a relatively popular technology quote, and it goes, if you are not buying the product, you are the product. If you are not buying the product, you are the product. Now keep this in mind as we move on, because I'll refer to it. Now let's start from the top. So WhatsApp has updated their privacy policy on the 4th of January 2021. And the privacy policy, for those of you who don't know, are the terms and conditions that you usually skip over when you are installing your account or setting up your account for an app for the first time. And to be told, 99% of people actually don't read it, including me. So for those 1% of people, thank you. Because if it were not for you, we wouldn't be having this conversation today. So to explain what this new privacy policy means, we have to go back and explain some other stuff. Now, I would like you to know that Facebook owns WhatsApp. Facebook bought WhatsApp a couple of years ago. So they own WhatsApp and they also own Instagram. So now Facebook is like a parent, and WhatsApp and Instagram are like the children, if you like to think of it that way. And also Facebook is part of the top 5 most valuable tech companies, up there with Apple, Microsoft, and Google. Someone may ask, if Facebook is free, WhatsApp is free, Instagram is free to download, how are they making that much money? And it all boils down to one thing: advertisement. And that's what all these shenanigans are based on. Now I'd like you to recollect the quote I said at the beginning of the video. If you are not buying the product, you are the product. Now, in essence, what this means is that Facebook is selling you, or WhatsApp is selling you. But wait, it's not as fishy as it sounds, so I'd like to explain. Now, I'll use myself as an example. The better part of last year, I was doing a lot of research into cameras and lights because I wanted to get one for myself. So most of my Google searches were on cameras and lights. So after a while, I realized that most of the adverts I was seeing whilst I was going through websites were based on those things I researched. So the advertisement of cameras and lights to me. And this light I'm using right here, I saw it through one of those adverts. So after I did a lot of research into it, I realized that what happened was Google studied my interest based on the searches I made, right? And based on those interests, they were able to tell advertisers, which were usually Amazon and B&H, that I am interested in these things. So what happened is that they will show those adverts to me, and I bought it through them, and everybody wins. So in essence, what happened is that B&H or Amazon, the people who sell the cameras and lights, they will give money to Google to advertise. And since Google knows a lot about people, they know what people like and people's interests. So based on their interest, they realize that I'm part of the people who are interested in lights and cameras. So they showed those adverts to me, and I bought it from Amazon, and then it was delivered to me. So in essence, everybody wins. I get the product, Google gets the money from Amazon, I buy it from Amazon, so Amazon gets the money. And that's the whole basis of this advertisement and data collection. So Google collects my data, collects my interest, right? And then they give it to B&H and Amazon, which is based on my interest, cameras and lights. And then they are able to sell to me, and everybody wins. So that's how this whole thing works. Now it looks like that's what Facebook is also trying to do. So they are trying to study the user's interest, the user's patterns, usage patterns, the user's likes and dislikes. And based on that, they will be able to target us with adverts that will be relevant to us. Now, if you didn't know, Facebook has a market called Facebook Marketplace on the Facebook app. And there's a lot of buying and selling going on around in there. So now that we understand this, we want to know what information is WhatsApp giving to Facebook now with their new policy update. And it's inside the update that we all skip. So we go through it one by one. So from the top, it says that they're going to take our user numbers, our usage patterns, our phone hardware, our battery level, our signal strength, our profile picture, our names, our last seen, and our IP addresses. Now, as I read through this policy, I realized that why do they need all this information? Because Google, for instance, they study my search and the way I use google.com, and they were able to know my interest. But what did they need my DP for? What did they need my IP address for? What do they need all this information for to be able to sell me a product on an app, which is Facebook, which I don't use? And that is what has created this whole controversy. Now, people's main concern right now is, are they going to give Facebook our messages? Since message is the actual data that we are talking about, and then the other data like your DP, the people you chat with, how often you open the app, those are called metadata, and the actual data is the messages you send and receive. So people's main concern was, is WhatsApp going to send my data, which is my messages I've been sending to people? Are they going to send those messages to Facebook? And the simple answer is no, they are not. Those messages are still encrypted. However, there are some few exceptions. Number one, if you send somebody a message and the person is not online, what happens is that those messages are stored on WhatsApp servers, but in their encrypted form. So WhatsApp still doesn't have access to those messages, right? They are encrypted, they are jumbled, they don't have access to the messages until the person comes online, and then they move from their servers onto the person's phone and they release it from their servers. At least that's what their privacy policy states. And it's this same encryption protocol that's being used by these new apps that are coming out, like Signal and Telegram. So they use this same encryption process to actually provide security for their users. And the second exception is one of my favorites actually. So you realize that when somebody sends you a video and you download and you forward it to somebody, it doesn't take your data or your credit to re-upload it to WhatsApp to send to the person. You realize that when you forward a message or forward a media, it just goes straight forward. That's because when somebody sends you media or you send somebody media, it's temporarily stored on WhatsApp servers. Of course, they say that it's also in their encrypted form, so WhatsApp still doesn't have access to those media, those pictures and things. The actual data is actually still protected. So what happens is that they keep it in their servers so that when you try to forward something, it doesn't use your data, so it saves your data and it sends it from their servers to the person. So in essence, it saves everybody's data. Now, as to whether you trust Facebook or WhatsApp that they are not actually having the actual media you send, that's up to you. But according to your policy, it's still encrypted on their servers, so they don't have access to it. And the final exception was with business accounts. Now, for business accounts, WhatsApp business accounts that have given access to Facebook, what happens is that Facebook will have access to all the messages you chat with them. So when you're chatting with the business account, just be extra careful and don't be sending things to business accounts, especially if you don't want your messages or something to go to Facebook. So if you're sending messages or media or anything with the business account, be careful, because that one, Facebook has access to all the messages. So the second question is, should I be worried? So people are saying that if Facebook doesn't have access to my actual messages, should I be worried? And the truth is, it's up to you, right? People's argument is that I should have the right to my privacy. I should have the right to say that, no, I don't want to share this and this information with this application. I don't want to have my information with Facebook. That's the right to privacy. I should have the right to withhold information about me from the public or from a second person. That's what privacy is all about. And so if I don't have this right, you are taking my right to privacy away. And the truth is that they actually don't have your right to privacy. In actual sense, nobody forces you to download WhatsApp and use it. WhatsApp is for free. And as I mentioned in the beginning, if you are not buying the product, you are the product. So in essence, when you download the app, you are supposed to agree to the terms they made, right? I make my app, I make the terms and conditions of my application. So if you don't like it, you don't download it. It's as simple as that. So once you download Facebook, you are subject to their terms and conditions, right? And if you don't agree to them, you are free to leave. Nobody forces you to stay on WhatsApp. And in their policy, they said that if you don't agree to it, you might have to delete your account from WhatsApp, and then you leave the app because you don't agree to their terms and conditions. Now, another argument is that a lot of people say that Google has all my information already. Google usually has my IP address, and my profile picture is actually on maybe Instagram and stuff. And even on Snapchat, I share my location to everybody. So what's the big deal if they have the information and they don't have my actual messages, which I call private, right? And well, again, I say it's up to you. If you think the only thing you hold dear to your heart, the only thing you think is private is actually your messages, you can decide that, okay, you stay on WhatsApp. That's not my issue. However, if you think that they haven't, or Facebook haven't, your IP address, the number of people you chat with, the people you chat the most with, the amount of time you spend on WhatsApp, all this information, if you think WhatsApp has too much information or Facebook is having too much information on you, you can decide to opt out and go for the other options that are provided, like Telegram and Signal. So what do I think? Personally, I don't use Facebook a lot, in fact at all. Some people don't have accounts at all. So my concern is, if I don't have an account on Facebook, why should my information, why should my usage information on WhatsApp be shared with Facebook? If somebody is on Facebook and the account is linked to WhatsApp, that's fine. So they'll be able to serve you your ads. But if you're not on Facebook, I don't understand why they should still be serving their metadata to Facebook, your information, your usage details, and all those things to Facebook. And that's where my concern actually comes in. So I think I would leave WhatsApp soon, but then the truth of the matter is that I've gotten so used to WhatsApp, right? And I think if I'm to leave WhatsApp, I should have a suitable alternative. And honestly, Telegram and Signal are actually very, very good messaging apps, but they are not good social media apps as a whole. Now, what I mean by that is that I feel like a social media app is really not complete. A social media messaging app actually is not really complete without status or story updates, right? So when WhatsApp added status, I realized a lot of people were complaining, but after a while, it became part and parcel of the messaging experience. When you chat to somebody and the person says, "I've posted something on status, go and check." And then, I don't know, for me personally, I feel like it encompasses the whole social media experience. So until Telegram and Signal implement that feature, I think I'll find it hard to actually move. I've been using Telegram for a long time, but it's not my primary messaging app because it doesn't have stories, it doesn't have status, and I feel like that encompasses my experience with the app. So personally, I believe that the first app between Telegram and Signal that will implement stories will actually take the cake. A lot of people will have an easy time moving from WhatsApp because they now don't lose any element of WhatsApp. And personally, I think Telegram and Signal actually have very, very good messaging features. For instance, WhatsApp, when somebody has sent you a voice note and you're listening and you leave the chat platform with that person, the audio stops. However, on Signal, for instance, it doesn't. You can leave and still be listening whilst you're chatting with other people. And I think that's a very, very good thing. And on WhatsApp, it's sometimes frustrating. And so I like secret messaging on Telegram. If you want the message to disappear after a few seconds, is also possible. On WhatsApp, it's only after 7 days, which I think is very useless. But yes. So I think if Telegram and Signal are able to add story or status updates, personally, I think that will really help them, and that will make the transition from WhatsApp to Telegram and Signal for the other people also very easy. So Telegram and Signal, if you're watching this video for some weird reason, I think you should do that as well, and that will make the transition from Facebook or from WhatsApp to your platform way, way, way easier. So in effect, the decision is up to you. If you think that WhatsApp having the amount of times you visit their app, the people you chat with, and the number of times you chat, the amount of time you spend chatting with your friend, if you think those information is enough to invade your privacy, then it's time for you to leave. However, if you also think that it's your messages that is private, your messages and your media that is sent to people, if you think that is the only thing that you really value, and the rest of the data, like the way you use WhatsApp, how long you use WhatsApp for, if you think those data, the metadata, is actually not your concern, and your actual only concern is the messages and the media you send to people, then I think you can also decide to stay on WhatsApp because you don't really care about the metadata, your usage, your WhatsApp usage details. So the decision is up to you. If you're on both sides, you make your decision. And personally, I think I would believe in when the other two messaging apps implement stories. But until then, I'm still on the fence. Well, I would like to know what you guys think. The comment section is usually empty, but today I think it's a very good opportunity to leave your thoughts on the comment section below. Are you willing to leave? Do you think your privacy or WhatsApp or Facebook is invading upon your privacy? I'd like to see in the comment section below what you think, and I'll engage with you down there. So until next time, I'll see you guys. And if you like to support this channel and support what we do, I'd like you to subscribe, like, and share with your friends and family. This is a very serious issue, and I'd like everybody to get to know about it. So share with your friends and family, like and subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you. Bye.